now. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Live with Roger Hanson. Today is Tech Talk, and we are joined by Mark Worthington as well as Old John, or John Clark, whichever way he wants to be announced. He changed. Welcome, John. He changed his name from John C. to John Clark. You notice that?
I didn't really change anything. It just sometimes I come on you and I'm old John. Other times I come on you and it comes up with my name. I don't change anything. It just changes every time I come on you.
He did it for you.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with it. I don't know.
That's pretty cool.
You should be able to edit. Yeah, you should be able to edit the name just before you log in.
Maybe then. Yeah, maybe I just didn't really look.
No,
That's pretty cool.
I don't know.
His voice did the chipmunk thing again. That's just so cool. I swear. But on Tech Talk this week, we're going to start discussing a suggestion that was made by Tan during our Minds Table weekend event. We'll be discussing ideas on how to best set up security for your system as well as your network. And again, I'd like to also mention that we'd like to hear thoughts from all the viewers and everything on the subject. So if you're interested in being part of the conversation, click on the Jitsi links that are below in the chat rooms for mine, as well as on my profile. I also have the link on my Rumble description for this stream, as well as it's in the chat too. So if you guys want to join, feel free to join. And I'd also like to add, which I haven't been doing either, Mark and Tan have extensive backgrounds when it comes to IT and technical support, as well as computers just in general. So this is a great opportunity to have a conversation with them. If you guys are having problems with your computers and everything, this is where you need to be, so you can ask them some questions and maybe they can bounce some ideas off of each other and give them to you, you know what I mean? So I just want to put that out there, because not too many people are wanting to click on that link and come in here, you know. There's nothing to be shy about. Just if you don't want to talk, there's a chat over here to the side that you can use. You can chat in the side. Heck, you don't even have to talk. You can just come in here and listen. And maybe in the conversation, you know, you'll have a question or two that you want to bring up. So with that, I'm going to shut up on that, because I'm the talker. Now, earlier in chat, we were having a pretty good conversation about this, and we were talking about it. And I also wanted to mention during chat that if we have this conversation, we also have to mention Linux when it comes to security, you know. And that's when you, Mark, brought up BSD too, and I was wondering if I could hand this over to you and let you kind of elaborate on BSD and let the people know what BSD is.
Okay. In effect, if you think about Linux, you are only talking about the kernel of an operating system. The part of the operating system that tells the machine what hardware is in the device, how to start up, what services to begin with. BSD is just another kernel, which is used in as an alternative to Linux. Has also been used in Mac OS X, and parts of it is used in Windows as well. So, yeah, it's just really the initial sort of mechanism to actually start the computer up, right? As well as assigning memory and assigning hardware to the operating system.
Okay. Now, in the chat too, you said generally speaking, you can lump the BSD and Linux kernel into the
Yeah.
same subject. So, when you said that, what were you meaning by that?
Because it is only kernels. A lot of the software that Linux-based operating systems use, BSD-based operating systems also use. So things like KDE, GNOME, the desktop environments can be used in either Linux or BSD. The various file utilities can be used in either operating system or either kernel-based operating system. Yeah, it is really an alternative to the Linux kernel.
Alright. You have anything you want to say about that, old John? It changed back to old John. That's strange.
No, mate, I know nothing about any of that. Nothing
Okay.
at all.
Alright.
I came here to learn.
I have got a blog article on this where I wrote back in 2018, 2019.
Do you?
Just find out.
Share it in the post and everything, and I can
Yeah.
pop it up on here. I can also share it in the chat. I don't know if I want to take a chance of post. Well, I guess I could, but I don't know if I want to chance it by posting it on the Rumble chat. So, so far nobody's been going in there, so I don't see it as being a problem. But now we were talking about also torrents. Now, what are your takes about using torrents on Linux and the kind of security that you need to be careful for? Because it was like I was mentioning port forwarding and BitTorrents, for example. Now, I was asking you, is it risky, in your opinion, to use torrents and stuff like that when it comes not just to Linux either, because you can use torrents on Windows and stuff too, but
Depends on what you're downloading, what the torrent contains.
yeah, that's kind of what you were getting into too.
What were you? I presume you were specifically thinking of something.
No, just well, I know that it's been suggested that when you use torrents, you have to be careful with it because the client can set it up to where they can set up backdoors on your system. You know what I mean? Through the use of torrents. So.
Well,
And
that's not necessarily torrents. Any insecure software could do that. Well,
yeah. And
possibilities. Yeah.
now you, I know you mentioned that and everything. You said this really comes down to the individual's general approach to security, i.e. using software that the individual trusts, reading end-user license agreements, having an understanding of threats, as well as having an understanding of their own infrastructure. So with that, when it comes to like license agreements and stuff, what are you talking about with that and the infrastructure?
Yeah. Well, as far as license agreements are concerned, all software will come with license agreements of some description, and some commercial software may come with license agreements saying that they may open up a port or may access your data in one way or another. So yeah, it's just a matter of being aware of those end-user license agreements.
Now I know on Windows, usually whenever you go in to do stuff like that, they'll give you notifications that this site wants yeah, there we go. On this site is wanting to use this and they're wanting to use that and everything like that. Now that's what you're basically talking about right there, right? Where they give you the notifications and then allow you to use, or it gives you the chance to allow them to use it or not use it.
A better example would be with the Windows license itself, with the idea of you need a Microsoft account to be able to install Windows 10 and Windows 11, and the requirements around data protection.
Mark sounds really weird on the audio.
Yeah, I know. I told him.
Okay.
He sounds like a.
Everybody picking up that?
Yeah, I told him he sounds like a chipmunk.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah.
I know.
It's like
He's
Mark,
okay.
try turn. He's okay from your end?
No, he's not okay.
Okay, 2 secs.
There he goes. It's sounding a little bit better. Say 1, 2, 3.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3.
Could be my end. Like,
Okay, orange.
audio's really choppy.
No, this one. Microphones, that's right.
It's
Yeah, give me your hand.
yeah, it's kind of jittery.
Okay, I have swapped microphones on.
I'm telling you, go in there and cut out that noise suppression. I guarantee it'll stop.
Yeah, it's off. It's audio off.
It's off. Okay.
How about that?
Yeah, it seems like Roger is sounding fine, just Mark cutting in and out. Yeah, so try turning up to avoid the suppression.
Yeah, it's audio off. But I've just swapped microphones. That
Yeah,
should
there you
sound
go.
better.
It's actually sounding
Sounds a little better, yeah, already.
Okay.
now. I just got.
Yeah, I don't want you to listen to the recording later on and
now.
and not liking what you sound.
Okay,
Just going
so
to do a quick. Just going to do a quick experiment for 2 seconds whilst we're talking about this.
mhm.
What you're doing now, just to make sure.
You said something about a better example. Now, what was you going to say there?
Yeah, I was thinking about the Windows 10 and Windows 11 license agreements in relation when you install Windows 10 and 11. I believe that there is a section in the upgrades.
Using your Microsoft accounts, signing online and creating a Microsoft account, and then accessing and then using that account to log in.
Alright. Yeah, you're talking about like the new ones where you actually have to have a Microsoft account in order to even get on the computer and stuff.
Windows 10 is not necessary, but I think Windows 11 is. I'm not
Yeah.
sure. No, I've not done any Windows 11 installations yet.
Okay, now, Tan, before you fall asleep, we gotta ask you some questions. You okay with that? I think he's asleep. He fell asleep.
Hey
It's
guys,
not-
I think I'm having trouble with my internet. So
Yeah,
give
you're
me a second.
you're
You guys,
falling into the red and the yellow too. So
Mm.
now, are you okay with talking about some subjects that we've already covered so we can catch you up? Dan? Yeah, he'll be on here in a second.
I just have a few issues.
Yeah. Now his avatar's out, so it's really weird. I was having problems like that this morning too.
Mm. Mm.
I'm wondering.
You were blacking out completely.
Yeah. Like right. Let me see here. I gotta figure out where I'm at. I'm actually getting lost in this stuff. So now that me and you've already covered like the whole thing with the Linux and stuff. What when it comes to people setting up their computer and just in general looking for a better way of setting security up, what would your suggestions be?
I suppose it all depends on specific use case, but you're talking about the average domestic user.
Yeah.
If using Windows and Mac, especially some sort of virus protection, configuring of firewalls, internal operating system firewalls, installing software that are hidden, getting from trusted sources.
So I think people are falling off. I think there is having some issues going on there. Now, so you're saying that basically everything that's needed is already installed in the Windows programs.
Well, everything that's needed as far as security concerned, Microsoft does provide options themselves. Yeah. I've not done any recent research on the inbuilt virus detection software. At one point, several years ago, it was not really all that great, but again, I've not done any recent research.
What kind of stuff has stood out to you that you're actually kind of impressed with?
Well, as far as Windows is concerned, that's a good question. How good wreck my brains. Windows 10. I don't know. I'm still a big lover of Windows XP, so
It kind of speaks for itself.
yeah, indeed. Small first file first print that it's got.
No, with me, mostly what I get from security, to be honest with you, is a lot of problems that people have with their security is mostly user error. You know what I mean? It's like most of the time when I've ever had problems, it was always because I downloaded something and wasn't watching.
alright, I'm back, guys.
There he is. He sounds good.
Ah, geez, so was my end all the time.
It was?
Let me.
Well, it looked like
Can
you
you,
were
still
asleep
hear
there
me?
for a second. Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can you hear me? Yeah, he went out again.
looks like he's having some issues. Yeah.
That was the same stuff we were having this morning, or I was having this morning. So,
Well-
now, but you know, that's kind of the problem that I was having, or whenever I was first getting into it. Like, especially if you go to do a download, if you're not reading what's being put on the download, they'll download crap loads of spam and viruses and shit onto your computer.
Well,
so.
like I said, being knowing where you download and download from trusted sources.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm.
And read. I mean, literally take time to stop and read what it says whenever the download pops up. You know what I mean? If you're going to take a chance, at least read what it says on the front one, especially the first one, the first page, before you hit next. You know, read that sucker. It usually has a check mark in there saying allowing them to download this and download that and things like that. Most people don't even look at that. They just hit next and don't even think about it. You know? Which kind of makes me think too that what was it? Did you see me and Tan's conversation last night on chat when it came to what was that? It was a program that we had. We'd previously discussed it on the round table, and we were saying something about movie night and stuff like that, and rave. Yeah, there it is.
Yeah. General.
No,
I did see. I did. Yeah, I did notice those.
no. This is the first time this has ever done this for me too, but my browser actually stopped that dead in its tracks. Like, I went to try to download it because when you go in there, it shows you that you can watch movies together with your friends and all that stuff, but instead of doing it off the browser, they want you to download it.
Which you mentioned things like Netflix and Amazon and stuff, and there could be a legal issue there.
Yeah. And they're talking about rave is watching Netflix, YouTube, Amazon Prime, Disney Plus, and HBO Max with friends.
I can especially imagine there's an issue, this legal issue with Disney about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wouldn't recommend that.
Yeah. I didn't even see that whenever you go into the website and stuff and click on it. Like, you know, I probably right here. Can you see that? Let me see if I got it popped up there. I gotta go in and see what we got going here. Yeah, I'll do screen share. That way you can see what the site looks like. As long as I don't click on the download part, everything's fine. But let me. Hey, there he is. He's back.
All right, let's try this.
But this is what me and Tan were talking about. This site right here. You look at it, you know, you got the option right here to go in and download it on Windows. So I went and I clicked on it, and the browser just straight up stopped it. You know what I mean? And I should have caught on there too, because they're showing like Prime Video and YouTube Plus and Disney and all that stuff. So I didn't even catch on to that. But it's like right there on the screen.
Yeah, it really is.
It's not too trustworthy.
I've got concern about the legality of it.
Yeah.
being able to access Mac and Android, Disney and Netflix and Amazon stuff.
Yeah.
And technically even YouTube, because YouTube does have a thing in its terms of service, so saying that you can only view YouTube licensed content via the one framework.
Well, the weird part of it is we were having a conversation about it, me, Tan, and Karma, and Karma even went in during the conversation to see if she could find it, and I guess they had changed the name on the phone or something, because this is actually supposed to be for like Androids and iPhones and Macs and stuff, you know. So I was doing the 8-hour blocks that we have for the 24/7 stream, and I came across that and I almost forgot to go check this out. So when I went and I clicked on it, that's when, or searched it and then clicked on this, that's when it gave the option to use the Windows thing, and I clicked on it and my browser just said, nope, we ain't doing that today. So it just stopped it dead in its track. I was actually glad that it did do that, because first, like I said, first of all, I've never had my browser security actually work like that. It was really weird that happened. So I thought that was pretty strange, you know. So I don't know. And that's kind of where I see a lot of the issues when it comes to security problems, is like people just go in and they click on this stuff and they don't even think twice, you know what I mean? And then later on, when you're having problems with your machinery, you're wondering what's going on. Well, you need to be careful about what you're putting on your devices, because that stuff has got viruses and shit, and the potentially unwanted programs are even worse than the freaking viruses in some cases, you know. He's back. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah.
Much better now. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
You're in the green.
Good day to talk about network security.
Yeah.
I think I might have been infected by a virus or something.
Oh no. He's been doing something. Okay, now.
Yeah, with a throttler virus.
Yeah.
I had to switch. So I was using my secondary Wi-Fi network.
Yeah. That's what happens. Now, since we got you back here, you want to go over some of the stuff that we've already rehashed, so where we can get your view on a lot of this stuff?
Sure. What have you been talking about?
Okay, now, first, we're talking about, let me scroll up, that way I don't mess it up, because we actually went through this pretty good. So, first, we started talking about BSD. Now,
it's the Linux distro, or Unix.
Well, it's an alternative to Linux kernel,
yeah.
I think.
Which distro is shipping with BSD now, Mark?
This
free BSD that was really
free
old.
BSD full desktop usage, full standard workstation usage, free BSD and BSD. Are the two obvious ones. For
Anybody
firewall
using that?
usage,
I think a lot of people are using Linux-based distribution these days. Yeah.
yeah, but it's more
There was
used in it's more used in firewall applications as much as used in things like PF7 and OpenSense and WR3 DDWRT or whatever.
Now,
yes.
so there was Sun Microsystem has a Unix system called Solaris that they before they went bought by they open sourced Solaris, right, Mark? I wonder what happened to that.
Yeah, I think that's actually used in a Linux kernel, isn't it?
No,
I
it
think
was way
at
before
one
Linux.
point. Okay, at one point it was using a phone kernel, which I think was based upon HP Unix. Is that correct on Unix? I think, but I think since they've actually moved over to a Linux kernel.
I have to Google up on speed. It just
Think.
came up when we're talking about Unix.
Oh, you got somebody
By the
listening
way,
in.
is Mark still sounding weird to you, Roger?
Yes, he's been sounding weird. It's okay though,
Okay.
because it's his turn, because like this morning it was my turn. Like it's and then actually you've had your same issues too.
Then I have my say. Yeah, it's a day of cornucopia of network problems to talk about tech
Let's
stuff.
see if I can.
Do you think it's those flares that mine keeps blaming everything on?
Yeah.
Maybe the end of the world is coming. A solar flare is going to like destroy all technology.
Not the same kind of flares they're talking about, but
Oh, okay. I just wanted to clarify that.
I think you're talking about Bill Ottman's clothes wardrobe.
I was trying not to mention
Allegedly.
Bill Altman. Now, okay, so BSD in Linux kernels, we covered that. Now, on I brought up the subject about
Also,
Go ahead.
just to before we finish that, Mac OS uses the Darwin kernel, which is actually based upon BSD. It has got it's got some elements of the and actually the Microsoft kernel actually not the kernel. Some of the software that Windows use comes from as a BSD license.
Now that's interesting that you bring that up too, because there's even a bit of Linux in Windows programs too, isn't there? Like Linux is pretty much everywhere, isn't it?
POSIX, I would say, rather than Linux. POSIX being the family of Unix. Being
Windows.
the overarching term.
Since Windows 10, they've been shipping a Linux subsystem.
The WSL.
WSL as part of Windows, so you can run a Linux program inside it.
Inside
Windows. So inside Windows, you can run a Linux subsystem, which you can install like Linux programs and things like that inside Windows.
Now, see,
Technically,
I could install them both.
Technically, it's a Type 1 hypervisor, isn't it? So it is another virtual machine. It's inside Windows. Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's actually cool because, like I said, I mean, you could always install them together, but they were always two separate programs. You know what I mean? Now you're saying that you don't have to have the two separate programs. It's right there on the Windows.
You don't have to have the virtual machine software to run Linux on Windows nowadays. Yeah,
that's pretty cool. That really is. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
Or any other x86 operating system, or actually Windows 11 is there's non variants, isn't there?
Yeah,
So yeah,
yeah.
you could
Windows 11 will still have the Linux subsystem.
yeah. So you could maybe run an ARM version of an operating system or x86 version of an operating system on top of Windows.
Mhm.
So you could have, I don't know, in theory, Windows 11 installed, and then Windows 10 installed on top of that, and then Windows XP on top of that.
See, now that's what I'd like. I'd like to
Yeah.
put Windows XP on there, get rid of all this nonsense. You
How
know,
are you gonna hold up a Windows XP?
I'm sure I can find it
Torrent
somewhere.
on
I'm
torrent.
sure. Actually, I might have XP on my old laptop, the one I told you about.
Okay.
It's got the bad battery, and I have the
Alright.
battery like sitting next to it, and you plug it directly into the wall, and you hear
Okay.
like rumbling sound.
Okay.
So
You probably could get an old OEM CD from eBay or something, new old stuff.
Surprised Microsoft doesn't like just let you download it for free.
they probably will.
But
No,
it's probably insecure.
Oh, that's true.
Even though it's one of the most secure, it's been out of date, for a couple of years, and
Well, I know.
security vulnerability.
Yeah, again, don't make the mistake of because there's no updates to it. Don't make the mistake that there is no updates, therefore it must be insecure. Because obviously
No,
you can build
it's-
infrastructure around it, and it's what you do with the operating system.
It's a
So-
fairly no. I mean, I'm talking about. I know what you're saying, Mark, but I'm talking about system security vulnerability that are no doubt still exist in Windows XP, even though it's a very
Yeah.
secure operating system.
But if you're using it offline, if not connected to the internet and you're using it for a specific
Okay.
purpose,
How what
then-
use can you use a system now without connection to the internet? Basically,
play no
but-
retro games.
But what are these?
Using
What are these security issues that Windows has? Just so we
all
know.
right. Let's bring up what was that site? God.
Because we've mentioned this.
Search Windows XP vulnerability.
Yeah, because we've mentioned this before, but I don't think we've
Yes,
ever.
TV details. Okay, so here we go. Discovered, published in 2019. How do I sort it?
Are you gonna export it? Oh, see, could not find it.
Well, it's nothing in 2023.
when was Windows XP's end of life?
It was back in. Oh wow, 2000.
SP3.
2019, they still found vulnerabilities in it. It was end of life way before that, for sure.
Yeah.
Surface Pack 3 commercial end of life. Remember, Microsoft always produces a enterprise extended contract, but the standard commercial was in 2014.
Here, 2014 here. There's vulnerabilities here. 2014, 2017.
SAMR. They just mentioned that.
Where do you see that?
Up a little bit. Go up. It was just.
I cannot see your screen because I'm still suffering from this green screen.
I've lost it. I think it might be up one more.
Not able to zoom in on.
I can see it, but it's just I'm wearing
No, I
glasses.
can't.
I'm wearing glasses.
Oh.
That's
Hang
why.
on.
No, for the last couple of times, occasions when I found
introduced a browsers his preview down in the corner. His screen becomes all green.
So 2019 was the.
Yeah.
Oh, this one was in 2019. The security score was 10. You mean the EPSS percentage?
Oh, see, like right here, they're talking about information.
Remote code execution vulnerability in remote desktop service.
Yeah.
Yes, the RDP, Windows XP is well known for RDP issues.
Yep.
But again, if you are
so that was my. I mean, so if you they don't. I don't. So I mean, they found these vulnerabilities in 2019. There's no way Microsoft would have patched these, right? Because they don't update Windows XP anymore.
Yeah.
So we.
In fact, the RDP issues have been going on for years anyway. They found previous issues, and I believe some of the patches they created for XP actually introduced further issues.
Yeah, that happened.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, you scratch XP out of your idea.
But
trying to bring it back
again, you can switch off services.
Yeah,
like
you can
RDP.
switch up internet access, and you play standalone games on it. Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
You want, and then if you want to download, install something, install it on a USB drive.
I remember when Windows 7 was released, there was a number of companies who would refuse to install Windows 7 because they created in-house software, and that in-house software would only work optimally with XP.
Right.
Yeah.
And obviously, installing XP would require not only development on the software, but which obviously costs money and resources, but also staff training issues.
So what did they do? They ended up installing Windows XP on a VM.
No, for a long time. For the long time, for the long time, they just left the XP.
Yeah.
Obviously, they have their own in-house firewalls and stuff, and they would switch off services and stuff to mitigate the issues.
Yeah.
I still don't believe them though. They did this same thing with what was it, Windows 86 or 89 or whatever. It was the one before XP.
Windows 95, man. Windows 95.
Yeah.
Well, it was the one where you take the disk, put it in, you can freaking put the Windows on that computer, go to another one, bam, put it on another computer, same disk.
So, I used to do that with Windows XP. When I've worked in corporate organizations, I may have a list of license numbers, and then just manually install the same disk, or maybe a bunch of disks on, let's say, 500 machines.
Speaking of which, do you know that you can run a Linux distribution off of a USB thumb drive? You have a live thumb drive there. You just plug it in. If your computer supports boot from USB, it'll boot up and run off of the USB.
Most modern machines will.
Yeah.
There's also the potential issue of the EFI, and what is the smart? Come on, what's it called now? This machine does it. But some machines actually introduce further security functionality into the BIOSes to stop or to limit the beating of third-party devices
Hmm.
or external devices.
Now, when I did that, the issue I had was memory, and to do that, I had
Yeah.
to manually set it up through
Mm.
the computer to where you could have memory set up independent from the hard drive on my computer, but at the same time, it's still connected. Does that make sense? Like,
think no.
you have to mount additional memory for the thumb drive.
Oh, no, storage space. You mean.
Yeah, storage space.
Storage,
External storage space, yes, because the thumb drive is basically like in the operating system on it. You can use
Right.
Yeah.
something else to
That's
store
right.
your data. Yeah.
Which that's what I was using my external hard drive for. I have it plugged
Mhm.
into one USB, and then I take. They had Windows Mobile, I think it was called. It's you can get it off.
Yeah.
You can get it and then transfer it with oh God, what was the name of that? It was a converter where you could take the ISO and convert it onto the thumb drive and just plug it in. The guy who made it, I really liked how he presented himself. You know what I mean? Because he was like, he's open source and everything, and he doesn't charge people for using his program. And he says that just putting that out there and allowing people to use it and updating it, that's advertising for him. You know what I mean? Because
So something like Etcher, which is a front end for DB.
I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Here, let me see if I still got it in my in my documents.
Are you sure it's Windows Mobile? Roger?
Yeah,
Windows
Windows Mobile is an ARM
Mo-
only operating
Yeah.
system. Wasn't
Windows
it?
Mobile is like for the phone device, the rugged.
Yeah.
Let me
I've
see.
got a phone there that did have Windows Mobile on it. I had an old HTC
Mm-hmm.
device
HTC phone.
Me.
somewhere over there.
Yeah, it's. I don't think I've used it on here. It's really weird because I've actually had to use it to put installation. Whenever I install Windows, I used to transfer it over onto the disk drive, and I used that. And that was before they had the Windows set up that you could go onto the website and get it.
Okay.
So, I had to use this program, but it's not on here. It's really weird. But yeah, I used to do that. I experimented with stuff like that back whenever I first started playing around with it. Then I got into. Have you guys ever heard of those little pies on Linux? They're called
The Raspberry
Pi.
Pi?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a couple around there. I've got a few orange pies. Actually, I've got a nice, and I can't find it, and I haven't been able to find for a long time, but an orange pie with a 4G SIM chipset on that, which I was thinking about using as a sort of phone alternative.
Now, security-wise, would Pi systems be better than using a computer?
Oh,
Not
the
really.
Raspberry Pi is a very small.
Yeah.
Not very powerful.
I've got a project. I've got.
Oh shit! I better get on there before they miss me. See, that's what they do. Let me get on there real quick. Hopefully they know I'm gone. Hopefully they're still there.
It's produced by different companies.
Oh, like the imitation of the Raspberry.
Yeah, different single board computers.
Banana Pi.
Um,
Orange Pi. Okay.
You got them.
I've got a load of PDFs with specifications that I can upload to chat after this.
seeing.
Yeah, interesting. But yeah, I've got a device called Banana Pie, which is actually a prototype router.
Mm-hmm.
A router.
Yeah, where it's a switch, but it's
Okay.
also got PCIe slot on it, so you can and I actually fitted it with a 4G modem
Cool.
on that. So
Yeah, it's fun to
yeah,
play with those stuff.
And see,
yeah,
when I was talking about the Pi, though, there's different functions I could use it for. Because, like, as you guys know, I'm like into retro gaming and stuff like that. You know,
yeah.
so I could actually use a Pi system.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's basically what it was formed around in the beginning. Because like the guys that started doing all that, all they wanted
Yeah,
to
yeah,
do
yeah.
was like use the Pi
Yep,
for
yep, yep.
retro gaming.
Yeah, people have used the Raspberry Pi to build like portable retro gaming machines and preload it with like hundreds or thousands of games on there, and then they sell it off of eBay, right? Like homemade
yeah.
game console. Yeah,
Yeah, there's an issue. There usually issues with if they had the rights to the license rights to actually produce or to
yeah.
copy those things
I mean,
over.
right. Who's gonna go after
But I
them? They're
can
like
think of
small guys,
Well, I mean,
I
I've
can
checked
think
that
I,
out. I've checked that out,
I can-
and
mama and papa shops.
I've actually seen
Yeah.
not one court case concerning video games whatsoever. I mean,
I have seen some commercial products, miniature Nintendo Entertainment Systems and
Okay.
miniature PS1s with preloaded software
Mm.
being all made with those Pi devices.
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of interesting when we get into it and everything.
So basically, it's a Pi that can run Windows 98,
No, yeah.
Windows
Yeah.
XP, or something like that.
No, because
With an
they're
emulator.
all on technically, but you're going to have real speed issues
Mm.
because obviously it's an ARM architecture and you're
Right.
installing an x86.
Well, but maybe
Software on
they gotta run, because these are Windows or DOS games, so they must be running like a DOS emulator or a Wine or
Yeah.
a Windows emulator program inside there.
Well,
Yeah.
I was told that Windows 98 works really good with it too. Like
Yeah.
if you use
There are some x86 single board computer devices out there. So that will be more of a natural sort of thing for these things.
yeah.
But yeah.
Okay, so we covered the Linux and everything. Now, what we were also talking about is torrents. Using torrents. Oh wait, I bet I got to get back down here. I accidentally got knocked off, so I had to come back on. I had to get that link. But with you, Tan, do you think that using torrents on Linux or Windows is risky?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you're torrent is like a peer-to-peer thing, right? So if you're running a torrent client on your machine to download stuff, your IP is exposed to the Hive. So I don't know if you can bypass it with a VPN software or something.
Yeah.
But normally it's
Again, yeah.
it's and I mean, I think if you go down to some foreign website and try to download some stuff, they put disclaimer on there that says to something to that extent, don't they? say you might be able to be traced by or software police who is tracking or trying to track software piracy.
Yeah, and we were also talking the opposite of that. Like some of these clients could also set up back doors into your system. You know what I mean? To where when you get it downloaded, they could actually have access to it.
Dan, you were talking about software piracy, but it's also worth noting that certain Linux distributions are provided by torrent sites.
Oh yeah. That's a legitimate use. Yeah, that's a legitimate use. So, yeah, that's a good point, Mark. So some Linux distributions they publish their download through torrent. So that's a perfect that's one legitimate use of torrent. I mean I think. And why do they do that? Because torrent download is faster than FTP or HTTP, isn't it? Because it's peer-to-peer.
You use multiple peers. Yeah, you use multiple sources rather than just one source.
Yeah.
I'm starting to believe that I was the problem to the audio because once I had to log back on, Mark's starting to sound a lot better.
I just changed my mic.
Oh.
Yeah, I just changed my mic back to my camera's mic.
But yeah.
All right. Okay. Good.
So
if you're downloading a torrent client, you gotta know what you're downloading, right? Not some some shady torrent client off of somewhere. You're gonna use some well-known client, right? And before you do that, you gotta research to see who makes them and whether if there's any known report of malicious activities by the torrent client itself. But the danger is more on the stuff that you download, not so much the torrent client that you use. Because that kind of stuff you can find out from a quick search on the internet to see whether this client is fishy or not, right? But the stuff that you download through the torrent and you end up extracting what you think might be a zip file, but it might turn out to be an executable that you're double clicking on to unzip, right? So you gotta be careful because Windows a lot of time by default they hide the file extension, right? So you're clicking on something that you think it's a zip file. You could be executing a program that you just download from the torrent client. So that's good to be aware of. I've never used.
But that goes back to my previous point of only downloading from trusted sources. As well.
Bringing them back.
Yeah, I mean, other than downloading a Linux distribution, because torrent is the peer-to-peer system, right? You just connect to the what do you call that node? That is it's been a long time since I used torrent, and I'm not familiar. So there's one server that you connect to that tells you here are all these peers that are participating in the network, and then it hands off. From after that, the client goes after this peer, and it's not up to you to decide which peer you're going up to, right? It's like whichever peer has the ability to send you the download, the client will download pieces and chunks off of that, if that client goes offline, it'll switch off over to another peer.
Some certain torrent clients will allow you to be able to choose. But generally speaking,
No, that would be after you've had enough experience at using Tors, though, in order for you to know which ones would be more trusted. But like if you're just starting out, it would most likely happen like Tan said. You'd just go ahead and let this person send you their stuff, and then when they go offline, it'll bounce to another person. You know.
But to be realistic, as far as most private individuals are concerned, torrents are used for illegal piracy.
Yeah.
Of course, you've got to be well aware what you're doing.
Well, I told you
place.
when I first got in trouble, or got started, I got in trouble over Mr. Bean. You know, I was like freaking doing that shit with Mr. Bean, taking his stuff, and the next thing you know, I get a notice in the freaking mail saying cease and desist. Because
see? Wow. So there you go. So they can track your IP to your address, huh?
It was directly from Mr. Bean's attorney. Literally.
It would be their lawyer getting a warrant from a judge to speak to the ISP, and then the ISP, based upon that warrant, providing contact information.
I'll tell you what, man. He might be funny, but he's an asshole. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
Actually, I disagree.
You should feel honored, Roger, that you're contacted by Mr. Bean's lawyer.
That's actually is kind of cool. I never even thought about that.
There you go. Different angle.
Again, I'm not sure if it's one Atkinson's lawyer to be hold some owed of the license.
That's how he calls himself infamous, isn't it?
Yeah, but have you ever watched his non-comedian videos? Like he actually has instructions on how to be a good comedian.
He's been really outspoken about free speech issues recently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
been a very big free speech advocate.
I guarantee he knows what's going on, and he knows what he's doing. Like when they sent me that thing, I'm sure that there was at least 2,000 other people that got that.
Yeah,
you know.
Sure.
But I guarantee he knew. He was like, "Look, man, people wanted to steal my stuff. I want to be a stop put to it, you know." And that was back when I first started doing stuff, and I was being stupid.
I think he knows that people are stealing his stuff, but I don't think he knows about you stealing his stuff personally. He just
if he did, he'd come punch me in the nose.
Sorry to burst your bubble, man. But I think he just sees the download and just pick his lawyer on you guys, and then just let the lawyers deal with it.
Yeah, he probably doesn't keep track of it on a daily basis. You know, I'm sure he just says, "Take care of this problem for me." But
yeah.
That reminds me of a good story. You guys want to hear it?
Go.
It's a true story too. Have you ever heard of Lou Ferrigno?
Yeah, he's the Hulk guy.
Right. He's the original Incredible Hulk.
Original Incredible Hulk actor, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he likes going down and hanging out on Venice Beach, okay, up on the pier. And there's this guy, he was like he considered himself his biggest fan, all right? So he goes up there and he sees Lou Ferrigno, and you know what he does? He walks up to Lou Ferrigno, and instead of asking him for his autograph, he punches him in the face. Yeah, he straight punches Lou Ferrigno in the face, and you know what Lou Ferrigno did?
What?
He beat the living shit out of him, dude. He beat him so hard he put him in the freaking hospital. And
did he find out why the guy punched him in the nose?
No, listen to this. When he was in the hospital, Lou Ferrigno's attorney went down to ask him if he was going to press charges and sue him.
Okay.
And the guy says, "Hell no, dude." He goes, "Do you realize I just got my ass whooped by the Incredible Hulk, dude? How many people can say that?"
Right.
You know, and that's a true story. I mean, it actually did happen. The guy literally got his butt kicked by him.
So he just went and punched Lou Ferrigno just for that, right?
Just so he could get his butt kicked by him.
Yeah, his butt kicked, yeah. And almost died.
He got put in the hospital for it. He probably didn't expect that, but.
So you had a similar thing with
Yeah, I did.
Mr. Bean.
Mr. Bean was gonna
Yeah.
kick my butt. I went and punched him in the face, and he decided, oh no, we ain't gonna do that. So, okay, a list of single board computers. So I'm gonna share that.
Just to demonstrate, going back to the previous conversation, in fact, the list that's actually
Ambient.
actually, it gives. This is just an example of many different Raspberry Pi or Pi-like boards that are out there. In fact, this is a very limited list. Actually, there's a lot more.
I'm gonna share
Ambient
that.
reminds me of the Symbian OS.
Now, I'm gonna share these links on the chat so that we don't lose these when in your blog too. Mark has a blog. It's about core components of open source operating systems, and that's when he was discussing BSD.
In mine, okay. I saw it.
Yeah.
Now, what's your take on that? What do you think about that?
Ugh.
Do you
Sorry, I'm
think-
posting the link. I didn't read the article. Let me read it.
Oh, you didn't read the It's like, oh, not another one.
Another 1,000 words.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
So it's an article that talks about the components of an operating, it doesn't necessarily be an open source operating system. Yeah.
No, it can be any operating.
Components of an OS. It's got a bootloader. Yep. And then the kernel, and then the command line interface, Windows Manager for operating system that has graphical user interface. Okay, yeah. Okay. I think the core component I would say are the bootloader, the kernel, and then the operating system services. Then after that, you got those things that are on top of those.
Obviously, with since Windows, was it Windows XP, the command line interface was actually built on top of the graphic user interface of desktop environment rather than the other way around.
I see. That's interesting. Yeah.
With all modern versions of Windows and Mac, modern versions of Windows, the graphic user interface is the login manager is the first thing to load, and then
is that right? Now, how? Because you don't necessarily all the time boot up to the graphical user interface. If you boot up in system mode or safe mode, it goes into a shell, goes into the command window. That can't be on top of the Windows Manager.
No, actually, no. From Windows XP, even if you go into safe mode, it will still boot into the graphic user interface first, won't it?
Now, what's the deal with the X or the X.org server?
X.org is
Windows
what manager,
X is the windowing system on the Linux system. It's called X.
I kind of got a little bit of that, but it kind of cut out. What did you? That last part you said?
Okay, so I said X is the Windows manager, the windowing, the graphical user interface manager on the Linux.
Okay.
Or Unix.
Okay.
Where were you seeing the X?
It's up by now.
Yeah, it's mentioned Windows Managers section.
Windows Managers.
Okay.
Of course, recently we've had the introduction of Wayland, which is an alternative, newer version or an alternative to X and XO, which I believe companies like Conoco, the owners of Ubuntu, are actually using instead of X.
Okay. And it's used with the BSD for the GUI, for the graphics
Yeah.
interface. That's pretty cool. Okay.
Yeah, so X was it. Yeah, X was when it was there in the Unix days, way before this came.
And I'm still actually using X on my workstation because at the moment Wayland, in my opinion, Wayland isn't suitable for productivity use. It's not as stable as X.org
Yeah.
or
Xorg,
Yeah.
is this Xorg the open the free version of X Windows?
No, it's the same thing. It's also named X11, isn't it? It's got
Yeah.
3 or 4 different titles to it,
Right.
just to confuse people.
Okay. See, you guys are geniuses. Like that's some good stuff right there. Now, do you think you've covered enough on what you wanted to about BSD?
Yeah, I think so. What yeah, okay, move on. Let's move on.
Okay.
What else?
So, this is
yeah.
where you came in basically. So this is where you came in basically, and I was asking Mark from what we've discussed now. Okay. We've actually went off into a different area too before you came along, but like from all this, when it comes to security, what's your best advice that you could give somebody who's just a regular uses regular computer when it comes to setting up a good security for their computer system?
Okay, for Windows, first thing I'd say is never to use the administrator. Just do all your setup on your administrator account, but then switch to a non-admin user to use the system for the rest of your normal use. Okay? Unless you have to install stuff, you almost never need to get into the admin mode to do stuff. That way, if you get infected by any virus, it'll affect only your user account. It won't damage the whole operating system. It won't wipe out your OS to the point where you won't be able to boot up anymore. Right?
Right.
So that's even the better approach than using any antivirus. Right? Just use Windows with a non-admin user. Then that's how I set up my my dad's computer. I log in as an administrator account that only I have access to, and then I create a non-admin account for him to use. So before this trouble, he's got sometimes he's got fired. He downloads stuff unwittingly from his email stuff that just ended up either clogging his machine to the point where it's basically just sitting there. It's spawning a service process. It's sitting there, and every once in a while it throws up a browser with a link to some ad, right? Some ad service that's running on there, and so it's just picking up. Sometimes he doesn't know where it comes from. Sometimes it takes him up to a porn site.
There you go.
So enough of that. Or just let him use his non-admin account to do his stuff. It's been fine for years in that setup.
Yeah. And see, I even forgot about that too. Like that's probably what I need to do on this, because I haven't done that in years, to be honest. It's something that I know should be done, and people just overlook it. You know, don't run your computer on your admin account. Set up a alternate account and just.
Well, I mean, if you know what you're doing, then it's fine. If you know what you're doing, then
it's better to be safe than sorry, though. I mean,
yeah.
Really, it is. That actually is a tip that people should actually be doing.
Mm-hmm.
Dan,
Yeah.
you raised another interesting point there. Not only should you be vigilant about what websites you go to, but also vigilant about what you download and by your email.
Yeah.
We all get spam, and sometimes there might be, I don't know, some offer that includes a PDF document or an executable.
Or
And
they
yeah,
make it look like it's a PDF document, but you click on it and it turns out to be an executable. Yeah, like I said before,
even
on Windows, sometimes they don't show by default. They don't show you the file extension on the Windows Explorer, right? So it might so the bad actors are using that fact to lure people into clicking links to programs that want to do stuff.
Yeah.
And not only that, things like PDFs and JPEGs and MPEGs always tend to have a couple bytes free in the beginning of the files, which malicious code could be injected into. PDFs especially. We've seen this in the past with things like Microsoft Word documents, where there's been code injected into it. So once you've downloaded it and tried to open up in, let's say, Microsoft Word or your PDF, Adobe PDF viewer, rogue code is included within the first couple of bytes.
And yeah, so then the other thing, the other thing is on the email, sometimes click on the link is also dangerous, right? You might be thinking you're clicking on a link that open a website is harmless, but that link could open up to a page that has JavaScript that exploits some browser vulnerability that might be on your system, and that script will download and automatically execute some code on your machine that you're on.
And see,
So-
that's something too that I have an issue with, because I know that's true. And another thing is that you got to think about too is like, and Google is notorious for this too. They actually took that information and allowed it to be used in their advertising. You know what I mean? When it comes to, you know, but now people know when you're opening their files, when they send them to you in emails. Like, they know how many people have at least opened the file. They know how many people have read what they've sent, how many people have watched it. You know, it's insane that they're doing that stuff, and they're encouraging it, because that's how a lot of people.
Yeah, which probably is a violation of the EU GDPR, General Data Protection Regulation, and possibly illegal under the California Consumer Protection Act.
But is there, if you're an end user that are using Gmail as a free service, there might be a different terms of use that.
Yes, but if you are a EU or an EEA resident, then even Google has to apply. All countries technically have to be GDPR. So if you're accessing the service from an EEA country, then yeah, those services have to be GDPR compliant.
Okay, so you're saying if somebody's using Gmail in the UK, they won't see those ads that are relevant to the email content that the user is viewing?
If it's taking data from their own system, then technically that would be a violation of GDPR.
No, I can specifically say when it comes to Google, it's AdSense. You know, they're the ones who are notorious for that stuff. Like, you go into your Gmail and you open up an email, and
Yeah.
AdSense will literally tell the people who advertise that email how many people have opened up that email and what the
Which is a
percentages are.
possibility,
Mm.
which is possible a general data protection regulation violation. There's an interesting thing at the moment. You both are aware of the YouTube ad blocking issue at the moment, where YouTube is forcing people not to use ad blockers on their
Yeah.
surface. There's an argument within the last couple of days that it's meant to be being reviewed by the EU, saying that for YouTube to be able to recognise there's an ad blocker, they've got to be able to review what is on your own local machine, i.e. the ad blocker being installed on the machine.
Yeah.
That in itself could be a GDPR violation.
Yeah. I never even thought
because
about
they're
that.
reviewing what is on your machine and then taking that information without your consent. Especially if you are actually not logging into YouTube. If you're looking at YouTube from an anonymous account or a public accessible.
Now, with my YouTubes, it's kind of tricky on that. Like, my main account, all right, it's enforcing the non-ad blocker thing. But, like, when I go to certain, I have 4 branded accounts, and then my main one. And on some of the ones that are branded, it hasn't been implemented yet, you know what I mean? So I'm wondering if they've put it into full effect yet, because
obviously I'm only talking about EEA countries, so European Economic Area countries. So
trust me,
with maybe the exception of California, the rest of the states are not valid as far as this issue is concerned.
It's going to become a bigger issue. I can tell you that right now, because
definitely
people just aren't going to tolerate, being invaded like that. And like you said, how do they know that you have an ad blocker?
I don't know, because the majority of users will just want to have access to a service and will just use that service irrelevant of the agreements. We've seen this with Facebook, we've seen this with social media platforms just generally. People will agree to a terms of service agreement without reviewing it, just because they want access to the content, and then when they are banned from the content for violating the terms of service, they start crying about it.
It's the same everywhere. Here on mine too.
I know.
But Roger, if you are concerned about Google violating your privacy, why don't you switch to some other mail program?
Well, I mean, I don't have any problem with them. I'm aware of it. Like, the one thing that I have a benefit that a lot of people on Gmail doesn't is the fact that I know how to use filters. You know what I mean? If I don't like something coming into my email, it just goes straight from my inbox to the freaking trash. And then when you put it in the trash, make sure that the file's not opened. You make sure that it's not read, and that's in the settings. And automatically, if the filters pick up on that or certain keywords, that email just goes straight to trash. But you see, most people who use Gmail don't know all that stuff. You know what I mean? And it
But
took me a long time to figure that stuff out.
do you examine the trash bin once in a while just to make sure there might not be anything
Well, yeah,
legitimate?
I have to.
Yeah, much no use. Yeah.
You once it gets too out of control, you have to go in there and use your trash like you do your inbox, because eventually, if you don't go in there and keep track of it, it'll start deleting the mail after 30 days. So
Yeah. Right.
I always make sure that it's happening. So, but it's worth it rather than getting a lot of this other stuff. Like, they're sending me emails about Schiff, running for president or whatever position he's going for. I mean, why the hell would I be getting
How do you
emails?
get, how did they get a hold of your email?
I don't know. I mean, I'm
You
not.
you signed up to
Signed up
something.
for some free stuff.
Yeah. Or you've signed up to something that says we will share this information with our trusted partners.
I bet you I know what it was. It was for that Young Turks. The Young Turks.
There you go.
Okay.
They're shifty
Okay.
little Green Party
Mhm.
political lobbyists, basically.
Mm.
I'm sure you've heard of him, or Ergay, or whatever
Yeah,
his name
I'm
is.
aware of the Young Turks. Chang something or another.
Yeah.
Yeah, a extreme left winger.
He had this thing going where they were wanting to do a constitutional convention to get money out of politics, and I was curious about it, so I started reading up on some of that stuff, and that's probably where it came from. Now that I think about it, because he's the only liberal email that I get, and then I get a whole bunch of crazy Republican stuff too. They drive me just as crazy, if not
But-
worse.
Why did they email you asking for money?
They want you to give them money, and they want you to vote for them on election day. So mostly they want your money though. So
Right.
they know everything. They know when you're online. They know when you're offline. And it just seems odd that it does that on Gmail, considering they say how great the security Gmail has. They're like, oh man, you can set Gmail up on your servers and it'll protect all your information.
Who says that?
Yeah. Read the terms of services. You might find that once the emails
No one ever.
are sent to Gmail, they automatically become the property of Google, LLC, and Google can scan and monitor content.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not unless. Now, what if I'm paying for the service now, right?
See-
Again, read the terms of service agreement.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Read your contract.
And see, they have different levels of Gmail, and a lot of people aren't aware of that. Like, do you know there's confidential documents from the United States government in Gmail? They have the personal contract with the U.S. government for
Yeah, more than likely.
all of the confidential stuff. So
Uh-huh.
I mean,
if the government of the United States used Gmail for their email service, then
that's how they busted Hillary.
no,
I
that was because
I thought Hillary was running her own email service.
yeah.
Right.
As we've seen with in the UK with COVID scandal, a lot of politicians were using and still are using WhatsApp. So a Meta platforms, Facebook service for a lot of their own internal communications.
See, I wouldn't do that. I mean, being honest, I've tried that WhatsApp out, and it just that's some crazy stuff.
hence why a lot of the communications have been leaked.
Yeah.
Really? Because WhatsApp boasts end-to-end encryption, don't they?
Yeah, but generally speaking, it's been leaked by civil servants or
By the people who
No.
receive the message.
Yeah,
Okay, you guys
Yeah.
are bringing
Yeah,
up a
yeah.
good subject here. Now, since we're talking about leaks and we just discussed Gmail, what is the story that Ryan was talking about when he was talking about the Fediverse and Mastodon and Gmail using the Fediverse being incorporated in with Gmail? Have you heard about any of that?
Not Gmail.
He was talking about it.
Facebook, I mean.
No, he was talking
Facebook.
about Gmail. He's like, back. It wasn't the notice about. Well, it might have been. No, it was the one with Jack and his brother Bill, and they were talking to that one guy on.
Oh, yeah. Alex Gleason.
I've
Yeah.
not seen that one. Yeah.
They were talking. They were talking about the Fediverse being incorporated into Gmail and stuff someday.
Well,
I think you might
potentially.
Oh no. So I think you missed the context. I think the idea was that he was talking about Gmail being an open protocol, right?
Mhm.
Or not Gmail specifically, but email, right?
Yeah, so
Anybody,
free and
anybody's
SMTP,
got a
yeah.
mail server of their own. Anybody's got a mail server like Microsoft mail server is able to talk with any other SMTP server that will receive email on behalf of their users, right? So Microsoft is able to send email. Microsoft server is able to send email to Google Gmail server, and they're like they just participate in this SMTP protocol, and it works. So he's parallelizing that concept with the concept of the Fediverse, where any social media network is able to participate in this Fediverse, and they do their own thing so long as they subscribe to this. What is that protocol, Mark? Activity Pub.
Activity Pub.
Yeah, Activity Pub protocol, and it just.
I did
Work.
raise this in the Minds Canary room maybe a month ago, 2 months ago, with Ryan, talking about terms of service agreements.
Yeah.
So in theory, a active pub user can access Minds content and can create Minds content without agreeing to the terms of service agreement.
Right.
So what's your thoughts on that?
I mean, so that's the nature of this protocol, right? Just like if does the Gmail have to subscribe to Microsoft Exchange terms of service in order to receive mail from the Microsoft server? No, they don't.
No, but if you're using Gmail as your client, then or if you are publishing stuff directly to Gmail, using as your client, then it's a bit hazy.
They don't know anything. So these people who will publish their content on the Fediverse through ActivityPub, they don't know who would be potentially consuming their content.
Right.
They don't know. They don't know.
No analytics,
Right.
basically.
It's like a push. It's a push kind of a methodology where you just publish your stuff onto the
Fediverse.
the universe, the Fediverse. And then anybody who's able to consume it can. They don't care.
Bunch of
So
barbarians.
what is the concern then? Would Minds have to change their content policy then, so that it won't be a problem in that kind of a scenario?
They
Right?
were
'Cause
they were
they
also
won't-
they were
they-
talking about identities too, like identities
Yeah.
when it comes to logging in. Like, say I turn around and I create multiple identities on the metaverse, I can come into Minds and create accounts for each of those identities. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they wouldn't be able to monitor them.
No. If you go into Minds and you create your own identity that mirrors the one on Mastodon, for example,
Uh-huh.
then you would have to adhere to Minds terms of use service, because you're actually actively using their service, right? That's different than you publishing your content on Mastodon and somebody else on Facebook is able to read it.
No, I mean, like, I could actually create multiple identities on Mastodon and then come into Minds and set up an account. Like, you know how you checked out that...
But you're setting up an account.
Yeah,
You're setting up an
But you
account on Minds, therefore you are
Yeah.
You won't be
liable by the.
you won't be able to take advantage of Minds perks in that situation.
They said they were having issues trying to sort that out, though.
Trying to sort that out. So you think?
Yeah.
It might be. So, but the thing is, if you just publishing your content and somebody view it, it's fine, right? It's another thing that people are interacting with your content, right?
Yeah.
I have to. There's another issue there. If you are, let's say, a Mastodon user and you're publishing porn,
Yeah.
and there's no way of automatically on Minds, there's no way of automatically putting not suitable, not safe for work
Right.
tags to that content.
Right. Yeah,
Therefore,
that's something they have
technically
to deal with.
violating the content. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, they're not. They're not violating your content policy because they're not using your service. But you have.
Yeah,
to,
but
I mean, mine.
yeah,
Mine
you are
has to work out.
Mine's
Yeah,
is violating their own terms of.
that's right. So
yeah,
mine
mine's
has
is
to come up with
violating
a
their own content policy.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
That's
So
because
mine has to
Minds...
come up with a solution to deal with this, so that the users will.
Mine
not.
says, fuck that. I like porn. I like porn. They're like,
All
Well,
right.
as far as mine's is
As one of them used to say, I like. Porn's coming off of Mastodon is not even good porn.
but as far as the staff concerned, as far as the senior staff concerned, like any social media senior executives are concerned, social media companies are all about using their numbers, and if they can demonstrate that they've got more and more users, so yeah, it's a bit of like easy
No, but
issue.
that's definitely an issue, Mark, you brought up that they have to deal with. I mean, Minds user definitely will not want to. I don't know, unless you consciously subscribe to a Fediverse user, it won't show up on your feed, right? So it might not be an issue.
So it's the registered user that's creating the link that would be liable in that case.
Yeah.
So Minds user that's creating access
Yes,
tab.
the Minds
Well,
user that are
Mastodon too.
subscribing to this this Fediverse channel that published not suitable for work content. Yeah.
yeah. And see, you guys notice how I just kept my mouth shut and let you talk? See, I'm smart.
Also, also going back to the
You know from experience that
No, man. I mean, you guys
shoot
are
your
like,
mouth up about mines will get you in deep water.
yeah. No, I mean, it's even better than that because like you guys are actually talking good stuff, man. If I was to say something, it would have just ruined that whole conversation. You know. So I just like hell yeah, man.
just going back to the email analogy for a minute.
Yeah.
I've got my own. I've created my own email server on a third party server, which I own the contracts to. So I receive mail from Gmail. I receive mail from various providers. But I have not personally agreed to those terms of services from those third-party providers.
Right.
It's interesting.
So, yeah.
And it happens. So you create a mail server on edworthy.com, and people are sending you email at mark@edworthy.com. Spammers, scammers, they will send you mails like that. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I get quite a lot of. I get quite a lot of stuff, but I've got really good filtering tools.
Yeah. So they technically they're liable, but how are you gonna go after them, right? Like they're like nobody off of the internet.
It's the invisible man.
Yeah.
Yeah. People and then they might send you emails off of some fake identity that you have no way of fixing.
Yeah. I would have to go to get a warrant for each of the providers.
You need to talk to Mr. Bean.
And then, it would be very, very long-winded and complicated.
Contact Mr. Bean. He'll give you all the information. That man's got his freaking business straight. I mean, I'd say he had me. He had me pegged. He even knew the address to send the freaking thing to. So.
But to keep on with the email analogy for a little bit, right? Nobody ever since SMTP is invented has ever been sued. No email server provider has ever been sued for content being sent from another email server, right?
Yeah.
True.
Right.
As far as I am aware, there's never been any legal cases.
And see, I found the same thing out when it comes to these emulators. Like we had the conversation on my gaming, and I got curious and I checked it out. There's no lawsuits. There's nothing. No criminal charges concerned with any of the emulation games.
Just to be specific here, in the US, it'd be civil cases, but potentially in the UK, it could be a violation of the Computer Misuse Act 2010, I want to say, which is a criminal action rather than civil action.
I've never seen even a court case, like any kind of court case at all. I mean, like blah 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 versus Sega, whatever. I've seen absolutely no court case involving a lawsuit or criminal case whatsoever.
Yeah, potentially there may be some cases, but it's not sort of cases that the general public will hear about it.
Slightly different issue because these emulator makers, they're making emulators for really old that Nintendo is not making money off of anymore.
That's true.
so
how can you sue if you're not profiting?
They're not losing any profit, right?
Yeah, but that's not the issue. The issue is with copyright and licensing.
Yeah.
We all know that Nintendo likes to keep renewing its copyright on its content, and now that there are things like the 99-year copyright rules, you have a copy of Super Mario World, and you from 20, 30 years ago, whenever it was made, but it could still be under Nintendo's copyright.
Now,
Therefore, it's a violation.
from what I've had to experience from, like, there's some consequences, okay, like with the Mr. Bean thing, all right? Consequences for me using his content was my internet provider was going to tell me, no, you're not allowed to use our services anymore, all right?
Right.
So, and it's
Okay.
even like with the emails, okay? You could say you can no longer use our services. But like with emulators, what are they going to get you with? You know what I mean? I mean, if
Yeah,
they can't sue
yeah.
you for monetary value, then how are they going to stop you from using their server? You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah, but it's not the emulators that can sue you. It's not emulator productions. It's the
right,
rights holders of those games
right.
that
Right.
could sue you, and that could be a financial penalty.
Yeah. Now,
Yeah, yeah.
they could probably go after the ones who are distributing those ISOs. So.
Mm.
Yeah, I was going to say possibly not distributing the actual emulators themselves. This goes back to the old YouTube DL court case in the US that happened 3-4 years ago, where YouTube DL, a piece of software that allows for YouTube content to be downloaded to a local machine. The music it was actually the music industry in the US.
Napster.
The organization. No, it
Napster.
was the trade body, the lobbyist organization that went after the creators of YouTube DL. YouTube itself was actually originally blamed for this,
Okay.
but the resulting court case made a precedent that it's not the software creator that's liable here, so not the YouTube DL or emulator company that's liable. It's just the people that are using the content,
Oh wow.
so who are downloading the content for use. Yeah, so in an emulator case, who are actually providing access to the games themselves.
No,
Yeah.
that comment I said about Napster, I was mistaken. Now that was Facebook, right? Zuckerberg split apart from the guy who created Napster, and I believe later on they got in trouble with the music.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it was
Like
I don't know, but
Zuckerberg. Don't think it was Zuckerberg. I don't think it's Zuckerberg.
Or no,
This was before.
Zuckerberg.
This was before even Facebook.
Sean
was
Parker,
Zuckerberg.
right? The Napster guy.
Yeah. Now he actually partnered up with Zuckerberg, and Zuckerberg was originally the partner of the guy who started Wikipedia. And they went their separate ways.
Okay.
Right. I see that.
I mean,
Wikipedia.
this is still at the time that Zuckerberg would still be in university.
Yeah, he was a little punk. He was just running
Yeah,
around.
he was just a kid at the time.
He was having
If the Wikipedia article is correct, they did meet up.
yeah, they were buddies.
Yeah.
He broke his negotiations with the guy who started Wikipedia and was going to go with Napster when it come to music and stuff. And the guy who started Wikipedia said, "No, I'm not going that direction. So you can go that way, I'll go this way," and that was it.
Right.
I thought that was,
Wikipedia's business case is totally different from what Napster was.
He also
It's a
founded.
totally different business model.
well, you got
He
to
also
remember Facebook. What Facebook was originally supposed to be. I mean, they only started getting into video within the last 5-6 years, maybe 7.
Mm.
So, I mean, they were all about, just hanging out and chatting with their girlfriends, stuff like
Right.
that. That's why I got so
Mhm.
pissed off when they did what they did with their notebook. When they literally deleted everybody's notes off of Facebook, and this goes
Oh
all,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
and that should have
This
at
goes
least,
back to the sort of ownership issue,
Yeah,
Yeah.
where these companies actually own the content that you publish.
right.
Mm.
And this is going all the way back to like 2005 too. You know what I mean? Like this is an entire library of information they just wiped out.
Mhm.
It's,
Did they not give the users advanced warning?
they gave the advance warning, but there's so much information. There's no way one user could freaking pull that much information off their computers. I mean,
Yeah.
Again, you should have reviewed the terms of service every time there was an update on that.
Yeah, yeah.
So-
You know when Google used to have this blogging service called Google Plus,
they
which
still.
they-
Oh no,
they-
I remember that. Yeah, they
which
took
they
that
ended.
off.
And then
Mhm.
before they ended, they sent an email to all users that here's how you can export your content
Yeah.
before it goes all gut.
Interestingly, under EEA GDPR, there is a right to to be able to access and store your own data locally.
Hmm. Now I've still got my
which article.
I've still got my branded accounts from Google Plus. Those are the branded accounts I have on YouTube. So
Oh.
they started
I-
out.
A few years ago, when I moved over to mine, I exported all of my Facebook data and kept it on. Right.
How'd you do that?
Facebook gives you the option of exporting that data.
Oh, so you can literally just export all your data from Facebook over to Mines, and it's on Mines.
No, not to mine.
No,
Oh.
locally.
Yeah,
Oh,
just
okay.
on a local folder
Oh,
for
See,
storage.
There's an interesting GitLab ticket on Minds actually that talks about GDPR and be able to the right to get and the right to be able to collate your own data,
that's
which
cool.
is going to be
Well-
a thing in future. Yeah.
Okay, so we've got like 6 minutes before 7 o'clock. You guys want to call it quits, or do you got anything else you want to
Yeah.
discuss?
I guess we can stop on the hour. I'll just go for a few more minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yes.
what's your thoughts on
Coming
this
up to 1
before
o'clock my time.
we get out of here? What's your thoughts on this? We'll go between the two of you.
On what? On this topic that we've been discussing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a good topic, but I think originally I didn't want. I mean, you were asking me about security, and I was just talking about. We haven't talked about how to secure your account.
Well, that was something that I was saying you need to talk about, Dan. I'm like,
Let the conversation go where it goes, right?
Well,
We had good discussion.
That's a very that's the network
That's a very short
security thing.
conversation.
It could be the network security thing could be extremely long. It could
Well,
be we could go
we-
over days.
we
on
can
this.
go over that next week. Then
Man,
that'll be
I would have thought like if you say on Windows you have to do all this stuff and blah blah and this and this and this to be secure. On Linux, just
stop
don't use-
downloading porn.
don't use the root account.
Yeah, but we could go into subjects such as external firewalls and gateway devices and yeah, it could become an extremely complicated subject.
I wanted to talk about this thing that might be useful for somebody like a normal consumer user like Pharma with her small kit,
Mm-hmm.
protecting your network from unwanted content.
Yeah,
But maybe we'll
Okay.
talk about that next week. We're running.
I think that should be the top priority of it because she's definitely having issues with security and stuff. So I think we should make it a part of the conversation next week. At least start it out and go, and hopefully we don't fall off track.
Yeah.
You need to take charge of that, Tan.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
keep ourselves in. I mean, the conversation is good.
yeah.
So if we run out of time, we'll catch it up next week.
And we'll dive into that and make sure that we do it because that is a good topic. But I think we covered a lot of good stuff here too when it comes to
Yeah.
security. To be honest with you, and like
Yep.
emails especially, people are suckers for emails. That's something that I think everybody needs to be paying more attention to.
I don't know how technical old John is, but I think he might be interested. He's got a small kid.
Mm-hmm.
He might be interested in the conversation. Invite him next week. Tell him we're going to be talking about ways to keep our network safe from child safe content, including keeping our kids. So here's a little sneak peek of what we can discuss next week. Keeping our kids safe from like unwanted content like pornography and stuff like that, and how to practice safe online activities so your children doesn't get lured to some like weird child attacker
Yeah.
somewhere, right? On the chat that might be playing games on Discord or Roblox, and some weirdos just start up a conversation with them and promise them stuff, meet them somewhere. Oh, that's very dangerous. So yeah,
So
something
things
to
like
warn.
added parental controls and
Yeah.
parents being aware of what their children
Yeah.
are doing,
Yeah.
even if necessary, monitoring what they are doing.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay.
Okay.
It sounds like we have a plan for next week.
For next
then.
week. Yeah.
And just so you guys know, I don't know if you caught it or not, but John said he had to get off because he had to take
Yeah.
care of his kids. So he would
Yeah.
have been here if he didn't have to do that. So
Mm.
I want to say thanks to John too on our behalf. So for showing up, we appreciate him being here because I know he's gonna watch this. He's been coming in, I think, for the last two of them, I think, maybe. So.
Right.
If,
Cool.
if that's it, then I guess we're done.
That's it for Tech Talk. See you guys tomorrow for the Minds Roundtable.
Roundtables tomorrow already?
Yeah, man.
Oh my
Friday,
gosh.
yeah.
It's been a
Or
long
even today, as far as I'm
Been a
concerned.
long week.
It's been crazy. I didn't even realize it was tomorrow. So
You were planning to sleep through all day?
I was trying to go to sleep today. My biggest deal today was staying awake. So
You made it. It's now time
Yep.
to go to sleep.
now it's time to go to sleep. I'll see you guys later.
Yeah.
Will
Bye.
do. Will do.